All right, folks, Pinto Race Car time. For those of you who don't know, that is a Ford Pinto. It's a race car. Bought this recently from Kevin, Junkyard Digs. Flew out to Iowa, drug this thing all the way back, then turned around, drove the truck back, then flew myself back. Horrible decision. Cost me tons of money, and I'm way upside down on this deal, but I have a race car. It is a Pinto. It is a race car. It did live its life as a roundy round car, originally in Illinois. It then ended up with the TredWear guys down in the South, and they converted it into a does left and right car, and they have used it as an endurance racing vehicle for the last bunch of years. It has been driven by a number of different people. Isaac of Cars and Camera, Junkyard Digs, Kevin, obviously the TredWear guys, Nolan of Donut Media, and they've had a great time with it down at Barber Motorsports Park. Kevin no longer needed the car, and I apparently did, so I bought it. Unfortunately, it doesn't run, and currently we're going to try to figure out why that is, because it's not getting fuel. We were able to run it off of a boat tank with just a 10-foot hose sitting into the passenger side floor there with the tank. And it was able to drive. I was able to drive it around. However, it does not pull fuel from this here fuel cell back here in the trunk. So we're going to figure out why that is, and then hopefully get this thing fired up and maybe even being able to move around on its own power. Race car stuff. Race car. You pull the filter out of this?
I pulled the filter out of this. It had a little debris in it, but it wasn't horrible.
Okay. And this does have the sponge in the tank?
It does have the sponge in the tank.
And yes, there is gas in it?
So that was on top of the sponge, and that is the pickup. So we need to get this down below the sponge.
Okay. That would make sense.
Yeah, that usually will do it.
They did have problems with this thing in the past. Whenever they would run it for a while, it would get down on fuel, and it would...
Okay, so I just put the sponge down and tucked it in under the sponge in there, so
okay,
it should be able to pull fuel now, if the fuel pump works.
It does.
Oh, is it electric fuel pump?
No, it's a mechanical fuel.
Oh, okay.
But I drove it.
Oh, but you drove it on the boat tank.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that was an easy fix. Why don't you crank it up?
There's no way it was that easy.
Yeah, it could be.
Hop in. Got to turn the master switch on too.
Where's that?
It's all in the middle, on the dash. Use the handy dandy hook. Yeah, there you go. Those are useful. I made fun of those the first time I saw them.
I looked at them and thought they were. Ooh, that went right in the wrong spot. I thought they were funny, and then I saw what they were, and I was like, oh, hey, look at that. I don't think we have any power.
You don't need that.
Oh,
no, yeah, that. I don't know what that is. That's probably my fire system.
Oh, yeah, don't pull on that.
Don't pull on that. drive.
Best part of my day.
For those of you who are unfamiliar with the sound of that glorious machine, that is a 2.3 liter Lima motor. Think Ford Ranger, 4-cylinder Ford Ranger. From what I know, this is a roundy round motor. So it's built to take a lot of abuse, revs to 6,500 or so, 7,000 RPM, somewhere in that range, and should make pretty decent power. Now there's definitely going to be some power available if we decide we want to play with it, and we also happen to have a dyno in here, so we're going to be able to put this thing down on the dyno and actually test it to see what it makes and then fine tune it as we go. However, this type of racing, endurance racing, road racing, is not necessarily always about the amount of power you can make. And making the most power is not always necessarily the biggest thing. Yeah, there you go.
Wow, big tube header.
Yep.
Timing belt's trying to walk off.
It's fine. It's still there.
It's still there for now. So we're going to want to get a timing belt and a tensioner. And these are not an interference engine, so that's not a big deal to break. Tensioner's just walking off on the tensioner, so get a new tensioner pulley for it. That'll be like $10.
Yep.
Ford Thunderbolt. What is that?
Duraspark.
Duraspark. Oh, yeah. Thunderbolt's the Mercruiser.
Yeah. There may be some loose suspension components.
Yeah, the upper control arm's loose. You can see where it's wearing.
Yeah, the sway bar is also not attached.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, it's kind of broken.
From what I understand, that's been broken for a while.
Some time. Yeah. It's easy enough to fix. Yeah, Fox body front sway bar. Probably move that forward about 3 inches and it'll fit better. This front has been hammered into something. Look at this frame rail.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's had some rubbing.
It's had a slap or two.
As I understand it, I spoke to the gentleman at TredWear. The reason this is riveted on here is because there was a donor vehicle that they kind of nose offed, similar to like the Capri idea. Yeah. And they just pop riveted it. The front end of a, I believe, 1980 Pinto. Pinto guys out there. 1980 front end, I believe.
Awesome.
I believe Isaac maybe made some contact with some people over there on that side on the last time they were out on the track at Barber.
I like that it's got rub rails on it.
Yeah. Race car stuff. That way you protect those important body panels. It has been, as far as we can tell, somebody converted it to newer generation Mustang spindles. So it is a 5-lug and it is running the really lightweight special order Mustang wheels from like 99, 2000. Oddly, also the same wheels that I had on my 99 Mustang GT. Love those wheels. 255s, 17s on all 4 corners, so lots of tire, lots of grip. Willwood brakes front and rear. Also does have the dual cylinder or dual reservoir here, and you've got your brake bias up here. So full-on race car stuff. But now that it does run, we need to get it inside, get it on the rack, and see exactly what we've got going on here. So that's what we'll do next. We'll say it's a little easier to get in when you're a little bit taller. Let's try not to eat that armrest in your crack.
Yeah, that guy goes right up the pie hole.
Sounds better than you'd think it would. Yeah. So it's definitely been hit across the nose a time or two. A little bit of crumply action there. You can see.
Yeah. Fold it over. Just extra crushed on. Hey, it's got a brand new pump on it, just like my RV.
The sway bar link is.
It's just a piece of rod with a. It's just a Heim joint with a piece of rod out of it on this side, so it's easy enough to make a new one.
Okay.
Exhaust leaks to fix.
That's not super surprising.
What's nice is it's not a rusted hunk of garbage.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's been bounced off everything that it could have been bounced off of, but
Ooh.
yeah, I saw that when I was under it.
It's maybe not the exact way
It's
I'd
not
like to do
ideal, but it's effective. It's it to the stance they wanted it at.
I do know the shocks are shot on this thing in the rear.
Yeah, that's not surprising. They're also probably bottomed out because of this.
Yeah.
Well, no, that won't change the length of the shock. So the shock's probably okay, but the tunnel spacing is bottoming right there. Bottoming on the axle.
Pretty simple. Nothing super exciting. It's really not terrible.
It'd be perfect for what it's going to get used for.
That was loud. I kind of believe the conversation about the fact that it spent its entire life as a race car.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's a Pinto. It would be rotted into...
nothing. Even the lower control arm bushings are in pretty good shape. Definitely need to do rotors.
Oh yeah, look at this one.
It's missing the bits of that one.
This one's actually missing chunks of the rotor.
I'd say that one got a little warm once or twice. It's got some really nice spindles. Those must be the Willwood Mustang 2 spindles with the drop. So it's a drop spindle with the Willwood brakes.
Okay, so it's not running.
It's not running Pinto or it's probably a Pinto drop spindle. There's a part number RGH9801, so you'll be able to look up what those are.
Okay.
This one's LGH9801.
Okay. Anybody care to look that up for me? Let me know what we've got here. I know there was some interesting repairs on the steering.
I mean, it's a manual rack.
There was some stuff that got welded back together, I believe,
Well, that's been re-welded. They probably
in a recent racing incident.
I mean, that's a fresh weld there. I don't know what broke, but it probably broke off the flange.
What do we have here?
Sensor.
O2 sensor, maybe?
Probably speed sensor.
Speedo sensor?
I mean, this is actually a cable drive. But it's got a connector, so it might be cable or electronic drive. That's reverse light. Yeah, I don't know.
It's really not terrible.
It doesn't have a frame and oil filter on it. That's a win. Heads up.
It does also have the turn signals in the...
What's that?
It's got turn signals. It's still got glass lens headlights. And it still has taillights. So technically speaking, I can use this as a road car if I chose to do so. Kevin told me I'd be an idiot to drive it, but I mean,
we're all idiots when we choose to be.
it is. This is my kind of idiocy, I would say. This popped out the other day when we were unloading it off the trailer.
All right, it's just a tack screw.
It's held in right there into the front, but that's just your arrow piece for the front. You can see how much of that is scraped off as it's been driving around. But it does its job.
It's pretty big.
Diverts air underneath the car instead of at the nose. From what I've been told, this car never had problems with getting hot, which is nice, although that also makes me question whether or not it's even got a thermostat in it. It's not the biggest radiator in the world, but it's also only a 2.3 liter, so hard to say there. But, I don't know, what do you think? Not terrible?
No, I think it's going to do exactly what it needs to do. It's going to be a hoot, and it's not going to break itself.
And if it does break something, the parts aren't expensive. One of the things I very much did not want to do is to end up buying myself another nightmare that's going to cost me a bunch of money. This thing being a Pinto means it has very simple stuff. Parts are readily available. There's nothing super expensive. Even the engine that's in this thing, being a 2.3 Lima, are prevalent. Everybody in the roundy round world runs these things. So I can get any kind of performance parts I want for them. I can make this thing anything I want to. It is a 2-barrel that's on here currently. If I want to upgrade that, it does have a header on it. But whatever you want, literally you can get anything you want for these things. And pieces parts are not expensive. It's got Wilwood brakes on it, so that might be a little more expensive than normal stock stuff, but not by much.
Yes, this has coils as well.
Front that definitely has a lot of camber on that side.
Front shocks have been replaced. Coils, that was broken.
Or just reclocked the wrong way.
Cut.
That's interesting.
That's cut.
Huh. Yep. Okay.
Actually, I think it broke.
It doesn't look real clean.
It looks like it broke.
I'd say that's a broken coil.
Keep my head around where I need to see it from. To move it with the weight off of it. Oh. Yeah, upper control arms are loose.
Wonder how far into the race that happened.
Yeah, you can see that control arm rear bolt's loose. It's not gripping. Definitely use control arm bushings. It's funny.
I gotta say, I love the strappage on this tank.
What? Oh, the
You made the entire mounting system
out of
zip
out of
ties.
zippers. Ooh. spring spacer in it, but only on one side.
Hmm.
Maybe they cut too much out of that side when they were cutting coils.
So get a. Hey, there's a Ford starter.
There's a starter for your AMC.
You can steal that for the AMC.
Play revolving starters.
I don't know what those plates for.
Ace's Fuel Command Center mount.
Future upgrade that's already there. So.
That's nice.
Yeah, I heard about that.
This side doesn't even have that bar in the cage. It used to have that bar in the cage because there was a hole covered up there.
Yeah.
Maybe when they lowered it, they went too low and
Maybe so.
didn't figure that out until after they popped a tire.
So we need coils.
I'd do coils, shocks, control arm bushings, inner and outer tie rod ends. I'll make a link for it.
Rotors.
Backup pads. You can adjust caster on the caster rods. I may have caster rod bushings here already for it. Ball joints didn't feel bad, but you can probably wait for those to break on the track.
So, what do you think so far? Did I get a good deal? Did I get hosed? I didn't get hosed.
Oh, timing belt and tensioner, because the tensioner's walking the belt.
Well, that's easy.
Yeah, that's like $20.
So, it needs some things, but we knew it needed some things. It's a race car. It always needs some things.
Well, at least it runs.
It does. You fixed it for $0 still. Appreciate that. Now, there's definitely going to be things that we could do to be able to improve the fueling system on this thing. Right now, you have to remove the hatch off the back in order to access the fuel cell to be able to put fuel in it. We may modify that to be able to put a different panel back here to be able to add the ability to have a filler neck right there so we can just fill up much quicker. We'll see whether or not that makes sense. We'll probably play with a pickup to be able to put that in a better location or make it a hard line instead of the lens flare, sorry. Sun's outside. To be able to make it something where we're not going to have to worry about where it is. Maybe put some new foam in it, but at the moment, not that big of a deal. These tires are good enough for now. They are a couple of years old, but they are good enough for now. And I have a whole nother set of wheels and tires for this thing that are outside. So that's excellent. Oddly, this is running kind of one of each. You'll notice that's black and that's silver. Because there is a black set of wheels and a silver set of wheels. So they're mismatched as far as the fronts and rears on this one goes at the moment. But, yeah. Probably figure out something on this rear axle situation. What do you think? Do we keep running the blocks?
3 blocks and a shim. That's awesome.
For a race car?
Whatever.
It works.
It'll work until it doesn't. It's got the Ford brakes on the back. That's easy enough. Fox body 8.8. We could 4-link it just like the Fox body. That would be easy.
All it takes is money.
See if QA1 will give us some coilovers.
Hey QA1, you paid attention?
Hey QA1, do you want to help us out?
You want to get involved in some Pinto race car stuff? The market's huge. Think about it.
So many people doing that.
There's so many people building Pinto race cars. Can help you corner the market. you know, and here's the thing, in the grand scheme of things, I didn't buy this car to be massively competitive. I'm not going to be entering this in a racing series as far as I'm concerned. It's literally just a means to have fun, to be able to get my friends to go out and have fun. We can pile a bunch of folks and go in a truck, go to the racetrack, and go have some fun. Especially when you do things like the Lemons racing, where you need a team of people to be able to race. You know, you're running those races with 3 or 4 people in 2-hour stints. So you can, you know, take you and your friends and go have a good time at the racetrack, or we can go road racing, or we could even just do HPDE events and go train ourselves on how to become better drivers. The nice thing is it's a pretty proven platform. It's done plenty of racing before. Certainly there's room for improvement, but the nice thing is with something like this is you can upgrade the car as you also upgrade your skills. So good place to start, probably a good place to build from too. All right, folks, well, we're going to wrap this one up right here. That's it. That's the assessment. I didn't buy a complete and total piece of junk. I did buy a Pinto, but it's got a lot of great potential. It's going to be fun. We've got a shopping list of things to do. None of them are very time constraining or expensive. Most of them are readily available, so I can get a hold of everything I need reasonably easily. And this is probably going to be something that does kind of grow with me as far as my road racing experience. I have done road racing in the past. I have done HPD events in the past. But as I improve myself, I will probably also improve the car. Unless I break something, in which case it's an excellent chance to, you know, upgrade it. So yeah, the next thing we're going to do is get this thing aligned properly, which Rich will do. That'll be over on the main channel, on the Lucore Automotive channel, to get everything squared away so we can at least move the thing around without worrying about a wheel coming off. And I'm going to go order some parts and get stuff coming for this thing, and then we will start hanging some new bits and pieces to get this thing ready to go. I think my first track day is in 2 weeks. Auto Interest has a track rental, I believe, at Mid-Ohio that I'm going to try to get involved in and get this thing up there so I can at least have some fun with it. What'd you see this time?
So the tubing of this structure looks to be exhaust tubing because of the shape of the bends, are squish tube bends.
Mm.
Yeah, I'd say they were rubbing a tire on that one.
Anyways, guys, I hope you guys are enjoying this. I hope you're excited about this. Not nearly as excited as I am about owning a Pinto. Never, by the way, did I ever imagine myself buying a Pinto. But Kevin told me I needed to buy it. I bought it. It's going to be epic. We're going to have a great time with it. So if you're interested in this kind of thing, please follow along. Hit the subscribe button. Let me know what you think of my little Pinto race car here. How much fun do you think we're going to have with it? And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. No idea what that's going to be. Might be with this car, might be with my AMX. I don't know. We'll see. Depends on how quickly I can get a hold of parts. See you next time. Take care.